Chinese politics explained simply. Why is China so important? China is the world's most populous country with over 1.4 billion people, and since the introduction of economic reforms in the late 70s, the country has seen incredible growth. Currently, China is the world's second largest economy by nominal GDP, just behind the US. China is also the world's largest manufacturing economy and exporter of goods. Who doesn't own something with a label marked Made in China? It is also the world's fastest growing consumer market and the second largest importer of goods. In short, China's economy is now so large that it can and does have a huge influence on the global economy. China is also a recognized military power. It has both nuclear weapons and the world's largest standing army. It spends billions on its defense budget. Only the US spends more. China sits on the United Nations and has become an increasingly powerful voice in international politics. China is important because China is emerging as a global superpower that is rivaling and challenging the US. Who runs China? China is a single-party state. It is governed by the Communist Party of China. Theoretically, the three main institutions of power in China are the party, the military, and the state, but in practice, the party controls all institutions, so it is the leader of the Communist Party, i.e., the General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, who holds ultimate power and authority. How did the Communist Party of China come into power? In 1912, the Republic of China was established, ending thousands of years of dynastic rule, but a number of internal power struggles followed, and the country became fractured. In 1919, the May the 4th movement began, a series of student protests against the Chinese government's weak reaction to the Treaty of Versailles that was drawn up at the end of World War I. The treaty gave Japan land that was previously Chinese-owned. It was from that movement that the Communist Party of China was born. The Chinese Nationalist Party, also known as the Kuomintang, and the then much smaller Communist Party of China formed an alliance to defeat regionalism and to unite China. However, ideological differences between the Kuomintang and the Communist Party led to a civil war that lasted intermittently between 1927 and 1949. The two political factions did form a loose alliance against Japanese invasion in 1937, but after defeating the Japanese, the civil war recommenced. The Communist Party won a resounding victory and the Nationalist Party retreated to Taiwan. On the 1st of October 1949, Mao Zedong, a revered communist revolutionary, declared China the People's Republic of China, replacing the Republic of China and displacing the Nationalist Party. Over the next few decades, international recognition shifted from the Republic of China to the People's Republic of China, and in 1971, the People's Republic of China was admitted to the United Nations in place of the Republic of China. In 1957, Mao launched a campaign known as the Great Leap Forward that aimed to transform China's economy from an agricultural one to an industrial one. The campaign was a disaster and led to the deadliest famine in history and the estimated deaths of between 20 to 45 million people. In 1966, to bolster his diminished power as a result of the failed Great Leap Forward, Mao initiated the Cultural Revolution. The Cultural Revolution was a program designed to root out capitalism and counter-revolutionary elements in society, all of which were deemed a threat to Chinese communism. Broadly, communism envisions a society where the means of production, i.e. land, natural resources, factories, etc., are all owned by the collective and the fruits of the labor are shared out according to need. Communism is offered up as an alternative to the capitalist system where products and services are owned and provided by individuals who get to keep the profits. The Cultural Revolution led to a decade of unrest for China, with millions of people being persecuted and suffering a wide range of abuses. After Mao's death, reformers gradually dismantled the Maoist policies associated with the Cultural Revolution. In the late 70s, Deng Xiaoping, the then most senior politician in the Communist Party and the de facto leader of China, led the country through wide-ranging economic reforms which opened up China to foreign investment and the global market, leading to China's notable rapid economic growth. Political theorists argue that today's Communist Party of China no longer strictly adheres to the principles of communism that they initially adopted, and that now they have taken on some capitalist strategies that have allowed the country to develop so swiftly. So what's the deal with Taiwan now? The political status of Taiwan, officially the Republic of China, remains ambiguous. After the Kuomintang fled to the island, they maintained that they were the legitimate government of China. In 1992, the Republic of China and the People's Republic of China agreed that Chinese unification was the ultimate goal, but over time, other political movements in Taiwan have emerged, expressing a desire for Taiwanese independence. Most international organizations in which the People's Republic of China participates either refuse to grant membership to Taiwan or only allows it to participate as a non-state actor. In practice, Taiwan operates very